Good afternoon, everyone. Let's begin with today's analysis. The market just closed 5 minutes back. Let's first begin with the last week's view. As you'll remember, we were bearish on Nifty and Bank Nifty for this week, right? And if you look at the chart, weekly chart, Nifty has been bearish. Not a very strong fall. We were not expecting much of a movement, but you can see it is a red candle. And Bank Nifty, in fact, is giving us a bearish engulfing right at the top. So for this week, we would be bearish on both Bank Nifty and Nifty again. All right. We'll come back to this week's analysis. Before that, we'll just check as per last week's expectations what really happened in the market. So we were expecting a red candle on Yes Bank. So price has been bearish. In fact, there was not much of a movement on Yes Bank. It has been where it was. Kotak went as per plan. We have a red candlestick. Price did fall. This week, this should continue to be bearish, but I'm not using this for the call for this week because we don't have much of a target here. Tata Motors, we were expecting the price to fall, but if you see, it did not fall. After last week's movement, it has actually gone up. So this went against us. Wipro is an indecision candle at the same price, so small movement. Titan also went as per what we were expecting. We were expecting a bearish move after last week's rejection, in fact back-to-back rejection candle, and you can see this week price has gone down and touched the support. So this went as per our expectations. Grasim have an indecision candle. We were expecting it to be red, but it is green. So we have some, this did not go as per our expectations. And that's it for last week. So last week we had very few trades. Okay, so for this week's analysis, if we start with Nifty, you can see a red candlestick right at the top, right? Although there is a rejection, looking at the daily chart, we can see we have an inside candle today, but the resistance is still intact. All right. In fact, price after going to the resistance has started to go sideways or consolidate. So I'm expecting a drop anytime soon. And Bank Nifty again looking bearish. Similar movement on Bank Nifty daily chart too. So both Nifty, Bank Nifty show that they are topping out, and we should be expecting some corrections or a drop in both these indexes. All right. Now let's begin with the analysis for this week. So for this week, I am bearish on the banking sector, and amongst the banking sector, the trade that I'd like to focus on would be ICICI Bank. You can see price has gone up, and now it is starting to consolidate or go sideways, showing that we have found a top. In terms of the entry, I would not sell at the current price. The strategy would be to wait for a pullback, and once we get a pullback next week, we can go for a short, right? So somewhere around 544 would be the ideal level to go short on ICICI Bank. So this is sell for this week. The next one I'd like to discuss is Bajaj Auto. So the automobile sector is looking bearish. You can see this is a daily chart of Bajaj Auto, right? We have just broken out of the nearby swing. The major swing low is broken. Weekly chart, you can see strong breakout of the previous support. All right. Before that, we can see a double top also. So I'm bearish on Bajaj Auto. In fact, I'm bearish on the automobile sector, but Bajaj Auto is standing out, giving good confirmations for this week. We also have Hero, which is looking a good short. In fact, it has not yet fallen, so this should be a better entry because the target is at 2263 and the fall is still pending, right? It has just given us a indecision confirmation after a pullback to 38.2. So we're bearish on Hero. Again, automobile sector would be Mahindra and Mahindra. Here we can see that price did not move this week. We are having indecision candles and it is time for the stock to start its downward move. So it has already been in a strong downward move. It had just done a pullback, a minor one. It should start resuming its trend from here. Apart from this, I'd like to go short on Maruti. You can see that it had started the downward move at the resistance. It did another pullback, right? If we check our Fibonacci resistance, the pullback was till the golden ratio. We have a double top on the weekly. So expecting this to start the move, first target would obviously be 6859. So bearish on Maruti. So next week I'm bearish on the automobile sector. Banking is also weak, but not a very strong move except ICICI Bank. Moving on to Eicher Motors, we have a pattern here. If you see this, you can identify we have a head and shoulder. Okay, if you cannot see this clearly, this should be better on the daily time frame. Right, so this is the head. You can see it's approaching the neckline. Once the neckline is broken, it should be a strong downward move. And until now, for this week, we can at least target the neckline. All right, so bearish on Eicher Motors also. Right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the automobile sector. And now moving on to the consumer sector, we have Asian Paints, which I'd like to discuss for this week. Asian Paints, you can see today's candle was a gap down and a strong bearish candle closing at the low. In terms of the weekly chart, we have a reversal, we have an evening star, we have strong body dominating bearish candle closing below the low of the spinning top. So we have a lot of reasons to short on Asian Paints. And other than this, we can also see it is a double top, right? So keeping all this in mind, I'd like to go short for this week, targeting first 1,666. Once that breaks, we will look at the next target, but that will be the first target for this week. Another trade for this week, another stock is Titan. You can see we had this last week also. We did capture this move, and we're expecting the market to now touch the next support at 1002. So 1000 would be the psychological level, and that is what we need to target. Until 1000, I'm bearish on Titan. ONGC, again looking, it is in a downward move. We had a pullback and you can see a very strong rejection, right? So I'm expecting the downward move to start. This is also acting as a good resistance. First target from here would be at 115. And the last one for today is Z Entertainment. You can see the reason why I'm bearish on this. In fact, we had the signal a couple of weeks back, which we had discussed, and then market went sideways. This week it just showed that it is resuming the downward move. You can see the candle has closed at its low, right? So expecting the downward move to start from here with a target of 198. Let's see how these stocks do for the following week. We will catch up again next Friday. Thank you guys. See you. Bye-bye.